Hi everyone, hope you're well. And I am aware that quite a few of you have sent me requests to create a video on question three, which I'm just going to explain you a few steps. So before I actually get into the steps, I would just wanted to let you know that this video is created explaining the main steps involved in completing your question tree. However, there are a few parts that I have intentionally left untouched, and I would like you to think through those sections and try to complete them on your own. This will help you apply what you have learned and strengthen your understanding of the task. Okay. So, just the first thing you have to do is to prepare the data. This is the first step involved in here. So, if you look at the screen, you can see that I have opened up the dataset. Just like other questions, what I have done is I have changed the names of the columns as well as I have made a lot of changes into the dataset just to make sure that it is not reflecting on your actual dataset. So, your answers when you apply the steps I'm going to show you in a few minutes. You apply those steps on your data set, your answers might be different to my ones. So this is absolutely normal, just because I have changed the data set. So let's start with this one now. What we're going to do is the first step is to open up the file, and then you can see that data is already available. And just to make the data organized and viewable, I'm going to make some small changes in there. This is just like the presentation changes. So for instance, the first row, I'm just going to make it a little bold, and then I'm just going to convert that into all borders. So now the data looks quite okay. So it's easily readable, and then we can see the titles of these columns. So I'm just making sure that you have access and you can see that one as well. Then looking at to the returns, similar thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into bold, and then I'm going to have this, just the highlight this data set. And here we go. I put the all borders, and the similar thing I'm going to do is to have the titles changed, and then I'm going to put that into all borders. Similar thing is going to happen with which is the shipping cost. Once we are in there, we can actually highlight Control A, and then we can put that into the borders here. So looking at this, the data is very well organized now. Right, so we get back onto the orders. In the order section, we are going to look at few columns in here. Into is the order date, so we can find where's the order date here. Here we go. So the order date, I'm just going to highlight that into a particular color, so we know that this is the column we probably needed. Then the second column we need is the customer name. We highlight that one as well. Then we have sales revenue. Right, sales revenue. So this is sales avenue, but this is not what we need. We need sales revenue in here. So here we go. So we have gathered this data. This is the sales revenue here. So these are three columns which we would need. Actually, the fourth column we might need it later. We wanted to see the year sales, because the question states that we need to find the worst and the good performing years for top 7 customers. So I'm going to have this one in here. Click, and here we go. So we have found year sales, sales revenue, and then we move on to customer name and then the order date. So we have got 4 different columns we have highlighted. So this is just the beginning of this tutorial, and I have highlighted these ones. So at a later stage, we might come back onto this sheet again, and then we have to highlight something else as well. Probably we need a city, or we need to find a state where they belong to, 7 top performing customers, and we probably need a region, or we probably need a product ID as well. So we will come back, we will revisit these categories later. Right, the next stage is that we have to create a pivot table, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create, press Control A, which is going to highlight the data. So guys, a lot of students, a lot of learners make a mistake in here. Remember, we are dealing right now with orders sheet. This is at the bottom in here. We are not going to touch return, staff, or shipping costs at this moment of time. So the first sheet is orders. So you have to press Control A, select the whole sheet. You get back into Insert, and then you get into Pivot Table. Because of the security reasons, I don't know whether you will be able to see this pop-up menu or not. But when you click on the Pivot Table, you can see it says from table, range, or from external data. So we have to click onto the first option as usual. So click onto that one. Another window appears. Again, you don't have to change anything in here apart from just click, make sure that New worksheet is clicked on, and then you press OK. A new sheet appears, which is the pivot table. So in this section, we are going to drag and drop different options, different column names into different sections, for instance, in row or filter or columns or values. So until now, I don't think that it is difficult at all. It is just about making sure that we have got the right data set and we have highlighted the columns, because we might need these columns at a later stage. Now, the next step is the create a pivot table, and we are going to use the customer name. So let's see, where is the customer name in here? So here we go. Customer name, get into rows here. And then we have to find the sales revenue. Guys, a lot of students, learners make a mistake that they drag sales avenue, but we are not going to touch sales avenue right now. Avenue here is more of offline buying or online buying. So we got nothing to do with this right now. We need to find sales revenue. Here we go, sales revenue, and that goes into the value. Okay, so we have got this into the values now. So the next thing is I'm going to click onto the customer name in here. So if we go back into the row labels and we double click onto that one, we can actually change this to customer name. Okay, customer name. And once we have done that one, we can actually click onto this one again. And this is, again, because of the security and anonymity purposes, I'm not sure that you will be able to see this pop-up window or not. But what you need to do is you click onto this small button in here on the next to the customer name. You just have changed the name. You click onto that one, a new window appears in here. So there are several different options. Nothing to worry about. What you need to do is there is a third option from the top, which is called more sort options. So you click onto that one, appears, and into that window there are three options to choose from. So you are not going to pick up the first one or the second one. Instead, you are going to pick on the third option, which is descending Z to A. You click onto that one, and then another option appears, which is just the customer name. I'm not sure that you can see this or not, but remember, when you click on descending Z to A by, then you have to click onto the option where you see the customer name. Click onto that one, and then you see sum of sales. So click onto the sum of sales there. And when you click on the sum of sales, then the next thing you're going to do is press OK. So when you press OK, you can see that the customer name is actually filtered as well as ordered as per the sum of sales revenue. So until then, I think that this is a very simple step you could have used. Now, again, you click back onto the same option again next to the customer name, click, and then again, a window appears. In that window, you have to make sure that you click onto the value filters. When you keep your cursor onto the value filters, another window appears, and at the bottom of that window, you see an option called top 10. So you go into that one, click on to top 10, and then another window appears. You're not going to change anything in here right now, just you press OK. Okay, so once you have done that one, there we go. Sorry, just give me 1 second, and I'm coming back onto that one again. Okay, yeah, so you have actually gathered the customer name, you have filtered it. So these are the few steps which you have to look at. Then what's the next step is, again, you click onto this one, the same option, and the same window appears. But what you look at this one, now you have actually filtered those customers along with the sales revenue, that how much they have been earning or have made the profit over the years by those people, by those customers. So what's the next thing we're going to do is we are going to, and when you click onto that one, click onto the value filters. Again, you click onto the top 10. Okay, why we are clicking onto the top 10? Just click that again, and then a window appears. If you remember, just a few seconds ago, when we used this top 10, we did not touch that window because I asked you not to do anything. Now, when you click onto that one again, in the middle of this window, you can see, actually on the left, you can see top, and then in the middle, you can see 10, and then items, and then sum of sales revenue. But the middle one is 10, so you can change that 10 to 7. So you can click. You can click on 7, or you can actually type 7 here. So instead of 10, we wanted to have 7 top customers who have made the sales revenue, and you click onto that one, so you can see your data is filtered now. Again, we can go back into this option again, the same button, and then we can go into, we can have into the sorted A to Z, or you can go into more sort options. You click onto that one again, just like I did now. And then instead of you having descending, you can go back into ascending, which is the second option from the top. So you can click onto the second option, ascending from A to Z, sales revenue, and you press OK. So now you can see the data is actually reorganized, filtered and reorganized. So from 10, we have switched that to 7 customers, and then we keep clicking onto the same option, and then from 10 to 7, and then we have actually make it from descending to ascending order. So this is how it should look like. But remember guys, since your data is different, my data is different, so you might, when you execute this step into your data set, your answer is slightly different to mine one. So nothing to worry about. Okay. So once you have done that one, then the next stage is we are going to create another pivot table. So just before we create a new pivot table, I wanted to give a name to this table. So probably what we can do is I can give this name to get overalls. I click onto the sheet and I say that pivot table get overall totals. Okay, this is the name of this pivot table. Obviously you can have your own name, whatever you feel like, or you find it more easy to pronounce. Then we go back into orders, right? And then again we press Control A. Usually the data set is already highlighted since we have not touched after we got the first pivot table. So again, you have to repeat the same exercise. So you press Control A, then you go into Insert, and then you have a pivot table. Again, the first option is from table range. You click onto that one, and then again, nothing to change in here. Just you click on new worksheet, and usually it is already clicked, but just double make sure that it is there now instead of an existing worksheet. So again, new worksheet is clicked, click on OK, and then here you go. You find here you can create a new pivot table. Right. I'm sure that until now there shouldn't be any questions. It's not difficult at all, but here there are a few slight things, small things which we need to be very careful how we're going to play with this data set. So now, first of all, I'm going to I'm going to have the customer name because we wanted to find out the top 7 customers names. So we already have done that, but now we are going to find out for the last, I think it is 2014, 15, 16, 17 or something like this. There are years. So we wanted to find out that particular top 7 customers, how much they have been making over the years. So which year was worse for someone and which year was actually good for someone, for the same person. So now the first thing we're going to do is the customer name. So let's find out where it is. Customer name goes into the rows, okay? Sorry. And then we have find out where is the year sales here. So here we go. We found the year sales. And then year sales, we can actually put that into values. No, don't put that into the values. It should go into the columns. Remember guys, don't make that mistake when you go into the year sales. A lot of learners will try to put that into the values, but that's wrong. That needs to go into columns. So you can see the shape changes of the pivot table. Then we have a sales revenue. I know that in the previous pivot table, we have been adding this into the table. So we see that overall value has been added into that pivot table. So how much they have been making. So again, sales revenue, click onto that one. And again, we want to put that into the columns. No, don't make that mistake. We are not going to put that into the columns. Instead, we wanted to have that into the values. So here we drag and drop. So you can see the table is changed now. So we have the 4 years data of every single customer provided in the data set. So here we go. Again, we have to repeat the same exercise onto that one, which is we have to have the 7 customers data. So we have to apply the similar things in there. So what we're going to do now is, well, actually, we can leave that one in here, and instead of that one, we can and we can take the value from the previous table as well. So either way, we can actually go ahead. So let's go this one now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this data set. Yeah. So just give me 1 second, and I am going to have this ready for you guys. Okay. And yeah. Okay, so come back onto this one again. So we have created all these two pivot tables now. So now we need to find the best and worst each year for each customer in Excel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, this is the pivot table we have created, and I want to give this a new name. So just for my records that I'm not going to miss anything in here. Okay, this one should be the name. So what I would like to give name to this one is, let me just give the name sales by ear, right? So we give this name to sales by ear. Here we go, sales by ear. Okay, so we have got this one now, and then I'm going to create a new sheet by myself, and that one is going to be, I'm creating a new sheet here. So I go sales by year. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this data, and well, actually, before we copy the data, we forgot to apply the filters. So let's go with the same filters again. You click onto the, first of all, I'm going to change the name as the customer name. Okay. So customer name, for instance, the first one is Aaron Bergman, has made 322 in year 2014, then nothing made in 15, then something made in 2016, nothing made in here. So the grand total is 886. So similarly, we can see that each customer has been applying, has been making different amounts every year. So the first thing I'm going to do is click onto this option again. Remember guys, the same options you have to reapply what we have done in the previous sheet, okay? In the previous pivot table. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into more sort options. I'm going to put that into descending order by sum of sales revenue and press OK. And then again, I come back in here and same option, and then I'm going to have the value reply top 10. So I can see that there are top 10 people in here. And again, I go back into the same option again, and then I go back into value filters apply, go back and click on top 10, click onto this one again. So instead of 10 in the middle, change that to 7. So you can see that now it has been changed to 7 customers here who has been making money. So the filter, the graph is not the graph, the data set is showing that it's shrinking from thousands of customers to 7 top performing customers. Again, I go back into this option. Okay, click onto this option again, and then again you come back and find more sort options. Click onto this one again. Then instead of descending, you click onto the middle option, which is ascending A to Z, sum of sales by revenue, and then you press OK, and then here we go. This is the grand total that the customers have been making onto that one. Now, once you get to that stage, what's the next thing is we want to find out that for instance, the first customer, in this case, is let's say Sanjeev, how much, which year has been good, which year has been bad. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create a column here. So the column would be, for instance, best year, okay, and then best year, and then I'm going to have worst year. Okay, so I'm going to create this one in here and then press just to make sure that this is very well presented. Okay, very well presented here. Brilliant. Now we come back onto this one again. So worst year, yeah. So here, what we need to do that in the best year sales, we can actually use a formula called equal max. And when you write the max in here, what you need to do is you need to have B2 column F2, B2, sorry, not that one. This is going to be the best year in here out of here. So we are here on the best year, worst year values, and I'm just want to make sure that I have not missed anything in here, which is going to be cause any kind of here. So what we're going to do now is, here we go.